Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Big Brother Hometown Season 13 finale. I am pretty excited to be here. We have a really exciting night planned for you. We have our final three, Susie, Crystal, and Anna. One of them is going to leave tonight with the title and the grand prize and all the stuff that goes with it. It's going to be awesome. So I'm going to introduce the people who I could not do this without. I don't know how there was a time in my life where I did this by myself, but that time is long past. So here are my production members, starting with the one who's been with me the longest, Max Steady. How are you, Max?
Hey, good. How are you? Wait, hold on, Josh. Wait a second. My phone is ringing. Hello? Oh, hey, Julie. How are you? Okay, I'll let them know. Thank you. That was Julie Chen calling to let the entire cast know that this season has been so great that they all are getting an invite to be on BB24.
We're going to rerun the season for $500,000?
Yes!
Wow!
Congrats, everyone!
Next up is the one, the only Mitchell Stokes.
Period, besties. Let's get it.
Hey. Next up, the person that really kept all of us silly boys grounded and sane and sometimes rational, the Crystal K-Pow Powell. How are you,
Hello.
K-Pow?
Cheers to a great season.
And finally, that's here tonight. There's other production members that are not here at the moment, but finally that is here on the stream tonight. The Carl and Clark.
Hello. Sorry, I don't have a gimmick. I think the season speaks for itself. It's fantastic.
All right. Any starting words for us before I send you all out of here?
What a great season. What a great final three, all deserving of winning. I am so excited to see how it ends. Good luck to the three of you guys.
Yeah, I'm so excited. That's going to be great.
Yeah.
Same. Whoever
All
wins fully earns it. So, great work.
Well, with that being said, Max is going to stay here on StreamYard, but he's not going to stay here on StreamYard. And Mitchell's... Oh, I cut Mitchell off before he could finish his sentence. It's just going to be just me on the stream. And we're going to bring on the two of the final three that are going to be competing in part 3 here in just a moment. So let's bring on Susie and Crystal. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
How are you guys feeling?
Feeling good.
All right. Sorry, Crystal, I cut you off. I asked you a question and then cut you off. But let's get to it. Let's get to part 3, the final head of household competition. Both of you, within minutes of me asking, you to bring pen and paper, both of you said, does it need to have an A and a B on it? And I made the same dad joke to both of you. So, yes, that is happening. No surprises here tonight. You guys know what we're doing. I need a piece of paper with an A on one side and a B on the other side. The day that Tay was evicted, that day, the jury filled out a survey, and I'm going to ask you questions about that survey. And there are 8 jurors at the moment, so there are 8 questions. Whoever gets the most right will win the final head of household and be responsible for the final vote to evict of the season. If we're tied, you guys know what we're doing. We're going to stay or fold. And that's that. Any questions before we get to this? To question number 1. When Christian was asked who the least trustworthy player in the game was, he said A, Stoner, or B, Jamie. When you have your answer, you guys know the drill. Hold it up to yourself, and I'll tell you to reveal. When Chris was asked who the least trustworthy player in the game, he said A, Stoner, B, Jamie. Let's see him. You both said B. You both are correct. Question number 2. Speaking of Jamie, when Jamie was asked what he'd change if he could go back, he said, I wouldn't change a thing, or B, I wouldn't try and play the middle. Jamie's asked what he'd do if he could go back. He'd say, I wouldn't change a thing, or I wouldn't try and play the middle. All right, let's see it. Susie says A. Crystal says B. The correct answer is A. I would not change a thing. Susie takes a 2-1 lead. Question number 3. When Sparks was asked who was his mortal enemy in the game, he said A, Erica, or B, Stoner.
That's tough.
Right?
All right, let's see him. Susie says A, Erica. Crystal says B, Stoner. The correct answer
I meant
is
Erica.
B. No, but you got it right anyway.
I totally meant Erica. I'll take it.
Genuinely could have been one.
It really could have. Yeah.
I knew that was a tough one. When Phil was asked what his favorite competition was, he said A, charades, or B, can't stop. Phil was asked what his favorite competition was. He said A, charades, or B, can't stop. All right, let's see. You both said A. You are both incorrect. It was can't stop.
That was a toss-up too.
When Eric was asked the best part about playing Big Brother Hometowns, he said A, meeting new people, or B, game nights.
Not this.
Susie's PTSD from being
All right, let's see him. You both said A. Nope, it was game nights. when, when Stoner was asked who the most trustworthy player in the game was, he said A, Erica, or B, Phil. Stoner was asked who the most trustworthy player in the game was. He said A, Erica, B, Phil. Let's see him.
It's fascinating.
Both said A. You're both correct. Score is 3-3 with, I believe, 2 questions to go. When Erica was asked the hardest part about playing Big Brother Hometowns, she said A, figuring out who I could trust, or B, balancing real life and game life. All right, let's see him. Susie says A. Crystal says B. The correct answer, A, figuring out who I could trust. Susie takes the lead going into the final question. When Tay was asked her favorite moment in the game, she said A, playing Codenames and trashing Josh for being a bad spy master, or B, Stoner starting a game of Codenames when being evicted.
Those are both really good.
Both of those are excellent moments in this game.
Yeah.
All right, let's see them. You both said B. You're both correct. And with that, Susie has won the final Head of Household competition. Congratulations, Susie. You are going to the final 2. Perfect. All right. Susie, here's how this is going to work. In a moment, I'm going to give Crystal and Anna an opportunity to plead their final case. Then you will cast the final vote to evict. And then we will head to the final 2. So, Anna, I'm going to make you go first since you did not make it to part 3. You'll give your statement first.
I believe that out of everyone in this game, I was the person that was most downsized all the time, and being in the block, being nominated 6 times proved that point. And just the fact that I came all the way here, this makes me someone that really deserves to win this game. So right now, I believe that both of you girls really played an awesome game as well. Really different ways of playing, but at the same time really honest, and I appreciate it because from the beginning of this, that's how I said I wanted to be playing, and that's why I'm happy to be with both of you here. But right now, I believe that that's why I deserve to win, and that's why I deserve to be in the final 2 with you, so you can play with someone that really, this is not going to be easy for people, but you deserve as well. You were a great player, and you won more games than I did.
All right, Crystal.
Hi, Susie. I really hope you bring me. We talked about this, and we had a final 2, and a final row here would suck. But here we are. So I hope you bring me so I can turn this camera around for the gag of the game.
All right, Susie, the floor is yours.
Yeah. We've talked about this. Yeah. So it's no surprises. I will be voting to evict Anna.
Anna, congratulations on 3rd place. That is an unbelievable accomplishment.
I'm
were
the
phenomenal.
player of the season.
You
We bring you back for All Stars.
You were so great. Anna, we're going to add you to the jury, who are mostly all on a Zoom right now. We'll send you to the jury chat. Congratulations on a great season. There's a ton of love for you, and we've already told you that, so we don't need to worry about that
thank
anymore.
you. I love you all.
Love
You
you.
were
Anna.
fantastic, Anna. We'll see you back in a little bit for your jury questioning, and for now, we'll see you later. Susie and Crystal, congratulations. You are the final 2. You've made it as far as you can go in this game, and usually in Survivor, this where Jeff says the power shifts to the jury, but I don't believe that. I think the power is still in your hands. You guys get an opportunity to plead your case, to speak for your game. The jury is ready for you guys to be able to do that. I'm excited to see you guys do that. So, Crystal, would you like to give your opening statement first or second, knowing that at the back half, where your closing statements, we'll do it in the opposite order?
I'll go first.
All righty. So Crystal will go first with her opening statement. I'm going to get out of here, and the floor.
Okay, we just cut off yours. Okay, cool. I'm really grateful to be here. I never thought I would get this far. I am, besides Anna, the least experienced player in here when it comes to minis and orgs, and I have had to learn and navigate as I go. I had a highly social and strategic game. I built tight bonds. I was highly flexible, and I spent a lot of time pushing the agendas I wanted forward and snuffing out those I did not. If you have specific questions about them, I'm happy to answer that for you. I did not have winning comps as a luxury in this. I had to navigate through this game without safety, except for one round where I won HOH, and otherwise I was available to go out anytime. I was never an original nomination, and I had a seat at the HOH most of the time. I had some say in there. I typically knew what was going on, and it was rare that I ever knew what wasn't. I came in here, and in my intro video, I said I'm going to be a total alliance slut. So I was open for business for anyone who wanted to talk to me. My DMs and my calls were always open, and I was always here to talk to each and every one of you that wanted to talk to me, and I wanted to give you that chance. Susie has played a phenomenal game, but I think you all know what game she has played, and I would really love the opportunity for you to listen and hear everything I've done, because I have worked extremely hard every day at this game. I lost 15 pounds through this game, which is, I know you don't know how much I weigh, but that is insane for me to lose 15 pounds in a month. I haven't weighed this much since my 20s. I know that no one has a full picture of what I did in here, so I'm really hoping to paint that picture for all of you. And I'm looking forward to your questions. And I know I probably did a lot of things that seemed weird to you, but I had a couple of tight alliances that I was true to through this whole thing. And my behaviors were at times unpredictable, even though I tried to make them as predictable as possible so that everyone knew where I was at any given time. I have a lot of respect for all the caliber of players in this game. I knew I was never going to win competitions, especially after playing those little games early on. I was like, okay, I can't count on competitions. Got it. I need to do what I can do. I'm very proud of what I've done here, and I hope I get to show you all what I've done today. So thank you, and take it, Susie.
Susie, it's all you.
Thank you. To echo what Crystal said, incredibly grateful to be here. And I know that there's no way I could have gotten here without the relationships that I built. I know that a lot of people think that they know the game that I played. It has been a more visible game, but there are a lot of things that I did that people don't necessarily know about. I wasn't just a competition threat, which was not initially a part of my strategy. I did not want to be a competition threat, but I realized very quickly that the people that I wanted to work with needed to keep threats around, so I made myself a threat in order to be beneficial to people in this game as someone that could win competitions to keep them safe, as well as act as a shield. I wanted to come into this game and build relationships, not alliances. I did not want to throw in with everybody and be in tight alliances with everyone and then have to backstab people in those alliances. I wanted to focus on building relationships so that I could play an open and flexible game, and I had to adapt throughout this game. I don't pretend like I know what was going on at every turn, because I absolutely didn't. But I was able to listen and adapt and mend relationships when they were broken in order to allow myself the most maneuverability in this game. And yes, I did win a lot of competitions. I won 10 competitions, which is ridiculous. I did not think I would need to win this many times. However, I didn't have to win that many competitions. I also had a strong social game. Starting with the plague, nobody plagued me, and Jamie would have given me HOH if I wanted it. I didn't need to. I had a strong social game from the start, and I was able to sit on the block in a position where taking me out made logical sense to a lot of people, But for 2 people in this game, it did not, and that is why I'm still sitting here, is not because of just winning competitions, but also social game. And I had to keep my emotions in check throughout this game in order to play with people that had done me dirty and not let people walk all over me. And if anyone knows me, that's a huge growth for me in this game, is being able to confront people who have done me wrong and stand up for myself and not just try and people please my way through this game. So that's something that I'm personally proud of in my personal life growth wise. And I am looking forward to all of the questions about specific moves throughout this game and different ways that both Crystal and I played. Nothing but love and respect for Crystal and her game. I don't think that either of us would be here without the other. We definitely worked together throughout this game, even if we were not on the same side of everything. But we always came back together and sorted that out and made it here to the end.
All right. Good job to both of you. And we have our first juror here, and he has had a battle with StreamYard all season, so I'm not going to waste any time. Chris Stoner is here.
Hello, ladies. Is it working?
Hi. It's working.
Oh man, this is the second time all season. I just want to really just say congratulations to you guys. I am so happy that it was an all ladies Final Four. I think it's really cool. I think you two played really good. I'm a firm believer, if you make it to the end, you deserve to win. I truly think you two and Anna played the 3 best games of the season. With that said, there's a lot of opinions on the jury, and I want you guys to really fight for the win tonight. I want you guys to embrace your game, explain your game the best you can, and really give everyone your firm view of your game, and just express how you deserve to win. Because the thing is, your ladies kicked our asses. You guys ran circles around us, and you all deserve to be there. And you gotta show this jury that. I don't really have questions for you guys. I just wanted to kind of give you guys the little pre-pep talk, so you guys have just a positive outlook going into this. I know it's stressful. It's been a long game, a lot of effort, a lot of time, and just be really proud of yourselves. Be really happy. And whatever happens, you two played the 2 best games, hands down. I don't think there's any question to that, honestly. And yeah, just go in here, explain your game, be strong about it, and I wish you ladies the best of luck. I cannot wait till after this season. We can all hang out, talk, and yeah, that's all I got really. So,
Thank you.
good luck.
Thank you very much, Chris. You can head on back to Zoom. All right, here she is. Erica is here. I'm going to leave, and the floor is.
All right. So you both of me. I'm someone to analyze a lot, and I have loads of questions, but too many to, go through just myself. One thing that I'm really curious about is if things had gone differently, did you have backup contingency plans that you never got the chance to utilize because certain people won or they ended up not being necessary? Just a little bit of insight into what you were thinking, that even if it didn't end up panning out. And Susie, go first.
Okay. Yes, I made sure that I had a lot of different options in this game. One of the things that we made sure to put in place before the vote between you and Anna was there was one of the very few alliances that I was actually in this game. It was called Bitches R Us, and it was me, Jacob, Jamie, and Tay. And that was an alliance that I was prepared to go as far as possible with. And that obviously did not work out. And I had backup plans. I was tight with Crystal. I was good enough with Eric and Anna that I could still work with them when that fell through. And that was one thing just throughout the whole game. Early in the game, pre-jury, the only alliance I had was Crystal, Tay, and Carly. That was the only official anything I had. But I was also good, obviously, with Jacob. I was good with Jamie. I was good with you. I was good with a lot of people to a level where I had a lot of maneuverability and could adapt my game without betraying a bunch of people if I switched it up.
Okay, and Crystal, same question.
I had contingencies on contingencies on contingencies because obviously winning challenges was not where it was at for me. I really went into this game wanting to connect with people and feel people out and see who I wanted to work with on a more organic level and kind of connect with the people I thought weren't like bullshitting me. But what happened was all of the people I wanted to connect with didn't kind of solidify into the same alliances. So I found myself sitting in various alliances. There was an alliance of 6 called the Baking Dozen with like 5 of the guys on the jury, except for Chris Stoner, that I got pulled into very early on. So you can do the math on that one. I really pushed forward, like keeping that as tight as possible because I knew that number advantage was really strong. So I tried to keep them as tight as possible, even though there was this one plotting against that one and this one plotting against that one. I was like, it's to all of our benefit to keep this tight. On top of that, I knew that because Sparks was in there, he had Susie's back. And I knew because Jamie was in there, he had Tay's back. And there were 2 people that I was really wanting to work with. And Erica, you're somebody I really wanted to work with. And in that vote where you went out, that was the only vote in this whole game that surprised me at all. It was the only one where I didn't know what was going on. But even had I known where the vote was going, you had stood up to Sparks, Susie, Eric, and Phil to keep me, as well as Christian. And that was not something I was going to turn my back on in the next round at all. It's just, I have been in the vote every round except for that one, and I would stand by that. On top of that, I had built relationships with Jamie and Tay. I like them a lot. They kind of approached me separately, but in very similar ways that sort of raised an eyebrow for me. And you later kind of came to fruition. I was like, okay, they're a pair. I was a part of a lot of secret pairs and I was a part of a lot of secret 3s, but I always knew I wasn't a priority at any of those 3s. So I knew in order to trust the people I wanted to trust moving forward, I needed to eliminate their number 1s. And I worked to do that. Like I was pushing that agenda as best as I could throughout this game. The only person that
Can you
I
give
really
me examples for that?
Oh, like for example, I really wanted to work with Susie. I knew coming in here, Susie, Carly, and Sparks all knew each other, and I knew I couldn't trust any of them. I knew they would all like keep each other over me. I knew I needed to like cut them out as like fast as I could, because even if it wasn't true, I was like enough paranoid about it that I was like, I don't really know where they're at and while they're in here. And then when I got put on the block next to Carly, like it was a demonstrative move to me where I was just like, yeah, I can't have these 2 in here. I also really wanted to work with Sparks when I got in here, but it became very apparent that his fingers were also in a lot of pots and I couldn't have that. Plus he's just really stellar at this game and I knew I needed to take the shot when I could. So it really came down to keeping my true alliances as secret as possible while separating and severing the apparent number 1s and number 2s of everybody else as cleanly as I possibly could.
All right.
Sorry if that was too much.
No, I like as much detail as possible, personally.
Erica, you good?
Yep.
All right. Thank you very much, Erica. Next up is Phil.
Hey, ladies.
Hi, Phil.
How are you guys doing? Hanging in there tonight?
Ryan.
You got, take some deep breaths, guys. It's going to be all right.
Is it Phil?
I think so. I think it'll be all right. So out of everybody in the cast, like you guys are 2 of the people I was closest to for the 20 days I played this game. And I really valued the relationships I had with both of you, like a lot. And so I'm very happy to see the 2 of you in the final 2 right now. You both should be very proud of yourselves. I saw a lot of what you did firsthand because I worked with both of you very closely at times throughout the season. With that being said, the thing I want to judge tonight is your own self-awareness. And to do that, I want both of you to tell me what your biggest flaws were in the game and how you overcame them. And we're going to start with Crystal.
I feel like my biggest flaw in the game, one, was trusting you. No offense, but dude, you were out there doing it, and I was fully in with you, and you know that. So trusting you was a flaw of mine, only to get like tossed under the bus like a piece of garbage. And then I feel like my other flaw was that for me, like if I'm mad or angry, like I want to be left alone and I want to be able to process before I want to talk to somebody. And some of my closest alliances and people in this game, not just alliances, but relationships, I felt were hurt because they didn't feel like I reached out enough to them. But for me, I thought I want to give them the space. Like I try to make it clear that like my door is always open to anyone who wants to talk to me, whether you're mad at me, whether you need to vent to me, whether you need to come in hot at me, whatever it is. Like my door is open. And I feel like I hurt them by not reaching out to them. And in some cases, it was sheerly like running out of time. And I tried to and hoped that I explained to them what the situation was. But in cases like Tay and Christian, like I knew they were like tweaked at me, and I would have loved to have had the opportunity to talk to them, but I felt like they didn't want to talk to me. I had a similar thing with Anna and we got over it, but like, I feel like that was a misstep on my part, and I wish I hadn't like hurt them in that way.
Yeah. And Susie?
I have many, thank you. Obviously, I think everyone knows one of my big, I'm sorry, what was the word you used? Not flaws?
Yeah, I said flaws. I said
Okay,
big flaws. Yeah.
My entire personality, just a big flaw. I think I start out very nice and try and ease people into my personality. When I'm comfortable, the more comfortable I am with people, the meaner I come across. And having Jacob and Carly in this game, especially on game nights, I just came in hot and didn't take the time to ease people in and kind of tone down the sarcasm and the like savageness of my personality a lot, and found myself on the block for it. But that was one relationship, like Anna and I had that conversation and worked that out and came to like a human understanding of who each other were a lot better. I also didn't really make alliances. I didn't know how fast this game moves early on. And so I sat back a little bit more, and then all of a sudden find out that there's a ton of day one alliances. And I kind of just waited for those to implode on themselves rather than scramble and try and make a bunch of my own alliances.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. Don't stress too much. Susie, before I left the game, the day that I left, I sent you a message, and I said, "Win this fucking game." And I still hope that you're able to do that.
Thank you.
I wish the best of luck to both of you, and hang in there the rest of the night. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much, Phil. Next up, the one, the only, Jacob Sparks.
What up, beautiful women? You said you wanted an all-women Final Four, so I took the occasion for it. I'm trying to blend in. We both should be very proud to make it to the Final Two. It is not an easy feat, and you should be excited, and we're ready to listen to y'all's games. I think there's a lot that we are not fully getting the picture of, especially if you were kind of feeling it in yourself, and so make sure you do explain that. I'm here to love, but I'm here to clock a little bit as well, because why else would I be here? And so I think, Susie, you mentioned that you wanted to make sure you didn't play super emotionally, but there were a couple of moments in the game where you did let your emotions get the best of you, and I think that was when we were targeted as a trio for the photo, and I think that did play a little bit into the decision to vote out Erica over Anna. And so, but don't own that shit. Like, let it be. Not necessarily, emotional play is not a negative. but it's how do you use that in the game. Also, you said your social game was great in the beginning, but I think you just also noted that you were not very aware of what was going on strategically, and you did see yourself, due to social norms, find yourself on the block twice, in which one of the times you were meant to be the target, according to Anna. Whether or not that was going to happen is a whole nother story. But I think like owning that too, like we do have bumps in the road in our games for sure. Crystal, I think that you did a phenomenal social game. You found yourself very few times in danger. I think you played a very great game of finding yourself to be that person that other people had bigger targets before you, even if you weren't that number one priority for them. And that's beautiful. However, I think the jury is missing out on a lot of your game, and we haven't been able to connect the ties to secure why you should deserve a vote. And I want you to own that and use it, and you're doing a really good job of it so far. However, a lot of us do feel burned by you, because when we were in the jury fighting for our lives, pleading for our game, I feel a lot of us had moments of, where's Crystal? Where is she? Why is she not wanting to talk to us? Why haven't we been able to engage with her? And whether or not it felt like it was the other way around, kind of own that too, and talk a little bit about why that is something that you decided to do. Because I think a lot of us felt that same moment of, Crystal just didn't want to listen to us and give us that opportunity to at least give us that game. And so I think that's just something we're talking about, and I want you to fully be understanding of where our head's at as jurors, so you can explain that a little bit more. However, my question for the both of you, I don't want the fluff, I just want straight up, tell me what it was. I want your best move, and I want your worst move. What do you feel was the best move that would be like, this is why I deserve the votes? My worst move that I'd be like, ooh, if that was the only thing I had going for me, I probably shouldn't win this game. And I'm gonna start with Susie.
Do you want overall, or do you want pre-jury, jury?
Just whatever, overall. Could be pre-jury, could be jury.
Okay, I think one move that really defined the way that I played a lot of this game is the Carly Crystal vote. I had a conversation with Crystal where I knew that we were gonna be okay. And then pushing hard for Carly was not me saying, I hate Crystal, I don't want to work with Crystal, I want Crystal out. It was calculated. It was also emotional. There was a lot of emotion that went into it, but I didn't want to let this underdog alliance just sit and have an easy day and have time to plan what they were going to do going into live night while we were emotional messes. So pushing so hard for that vote was a way to figure out exactly where people stood, figure out where cracks in that alliance were, figure out also what in the world was going on, because I had no clue what was happening in the game until after I won POV, and everyone started telling me everything. And it started adding up, and I was able to use that to solidify this. They're coming after us, we have to come after them, but hey, I'm still willing to play an open and flexible game. So Crystal had targets going into live night. Phil and Eric had targets going into live night. You had targets going into live night. I had targets going into live night, but I was also able to repair a lot of those relationships, especially with Jamie Tay and Anna and Crystal as well, but I don't think that that relationship was as fractured by what happened. But creating that chaos allowed me to get a better sense of the game and figure out how people were truly playing. Because like I said, I didn't really know how Erica was going to play the game. I didn't know how Eric was going to play the game. Eric and I had a couple conversations, but that's when we really started talking game and strategy. And that was when I decided that Erica was not necessarily someone that I could rely on to fight for me moving forward, which is what went into the Erica Anna vote. And that was also a carryover of that move, was deciding I want to work with people who are willing to play this game hard and fight for their allies. And that's what determined a lot of my game. Worst move other than game night. We know that was not good. I don't know that I don't know that I had one specific thing that was like, this would break my game, because obviously I'm here and I was able to adapt with everything. But I think that honestly, probably not talking with Tevin more before he went out. I think maybe if I had done that and built a better relationship with him, he wouldn't have felt the need to throw us all under the bus.
Thank you. Crystal, you up next, girl.
Hi there. I'm not sure that Tevin was the one that threw you under the bus, so consider that. So were you wanting the best and worst moves? I have to say my best move is getting you out, because I felt like coming into this game, I was so excited to work with you. I love your energy. Like, I'm just into it and I dig it. But I had a sense that our conversations were you like kind of like hitting a checklist of people. And then I also got a sense of the fact that you and Jamie were protecting each other. And I was like, I can't have that. These two are in here like protecting the big threats when I got my ass voted under the radar, which was not really an accident. But I was like, I got to get this boy out. One, I want Susie all to myself. And I can't have Sparks in here like dividing her loyalties to me. I just can't have it. So you were just a massive threat, and I felt the same way about Jamie, and you were both on my hit list, and I knew when I got the opportunity I was taking it. Earlier that day, I even talked to Susie and I said, lady, we cannot win against Sparks if he's in here. We both talked about the fact that she wasn't going to put you up. I wasn't going to put you up. Eric wasn't going to put you up. Jamie wasn't going to put you up. Like, our only chance, this was like our one chance. And I was like, I got to take it. If I can make this happen, I got to take it. So I went to work, and that day I was on call after call after call after call, like leading up to your vote out. I wasn't trying to avoid you. I was just trying to make something happen. And that was one of those votes, along with the Jamie vote, where I was literally the last person to submit a vote. Like, production had to come in and be like, Crystal, you have to submit your vote, because I was on the phone all the way up to it, and I didn't really have a chance to come and explain that to you. And Susie had done like the Erica thing and not told me about it, and I had like overlooked it and forgiven it, and my best hope was that she would overlook it and forgive it. And she knew that we had this conversation, and she knew also that like it was really in the best interest of both of you, or both of us, that you went out at that point. And then also getting Jamie out of here, because Lord knows I tried so hard to get Christian to put up Tay next to Jamie to get him out of here instead of Susie. I mean, I went to work. Like, Christian can like attest to it. Christian knew I wanted Jamie out of here, because besides Susie, Christian was like the person I was closest to, which was a real like mind F, because like they were both coming for each other so hard. And I was like, one of these days they're going to clock that I'm like working with both of them, right? I don't know if y'all did or what, but I never threw you under the bus at Christian. I never threw Christian under the bus to you. I was never campaigning for you to take out Christian or Christian to take out you. In fact, I was trying to get you guys to work together, because I was like, we could really do something here. But really, Susie got put up on the block. It's a little cameo in there. Susie got put up on the block at that vote, and I knew she was gonna get put up on the block, but I also knew I couldn't reveal that, because I couldn't reveal how close I was with Christian. And he told me, and I was like, I have got to get to work. And Susie was feeling very like just down about the whole thing, and I was like trying to run through it. I knew Tay would never, well, maybe you're playing up to me, that's fine. I did a lot of playing up to like everybody all the time. I was always panic stricken, because I never wanted people to think I was comfortable ever. But like, I was like, well, what about Anna? Why don't I go talk to Anna? I don't know where she's at. Like, so I went and talked to her, and it wasn't long before she was like, yeah, I want Jamie out too. I want to go women strong to the end. And I'm like, you know what? I love that. I'm here with you. Let's do it. And then at that point, she was all in. And then she had a conversation with Jamie and Tay. And I was like, oh. She was like, I don't know about this. They made a lot of excellent points. I was like, I cannot have this. So I went on another round. I talked to Jamie. Jamie immediately threw Anna under the bus, and I was like, what's your kill list here? And he's just like, well, Anna and then Christian, and then like I'll like deign to drag you and Tay to the end. And I was just like, well, fun fact, I don't want Anna, Susie, or Christian to go anywhere. So thank you for your kill list. And I took that to Anna, and she was back in with me, and we were able to save Susie. So those were my best moves. And I will stand by my worst move was that I trusted Phil. Period.
Perfect. Thank you both, wonderful human beings. Again, love you as people, roast you as players, as we all have done with each other. Keep up the good work. Again, explain your game, go for it all out, and I wish the best of luck for you both, and we'll see what happens. Mwah.
Thank you, love.
Thank you, Jacob. All right, next up, the dad joke of dad jokes, Eric Taylor.
Hi.
Hi.
How's it going?
Doing well. How are
That's
you?
good. Doing well. Just hanging out in the jury house, just having fun, all that good stuff. Well, let me start off before I get into the questions. Both of you deserve to be sitting where you're at right now. I've worked with both of you in some capacity throughout the course of this game, and I'm just so proud to see you both there. I have 3 things I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to do a rapid fire poll. I'm going to ask you a question, and then I'm going to give you a compilation of the best dad jokes throughout Big Brother hometowns. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I don't have a question for you, but no, I'm kidding. But anyways, so this poll is about game awareness, and so that you are not influenced by the world around you, I need you to turn away from your computer. All right. So this is going to be a raising hand moment. All right. So you cannot be influenced by my reactions or anything in shape or form. All right. Here we go. All right. Raise your hand. Easy question. Raise your hand if you think you've played a game worthy of winning Big Brother hometowns. Excellent. Excellent. Raise your hand if you think you have the 5 votes needed to win Big Brother hometowns. All right. Ooh, okay. Interesting. So I'm going to go even deeper. Raise your hand if you think you have Chris's vote. Raise your hand if you think you have Erica's. Oh, and by the way, not sure's don't count. You guys got to be yes or no. Raise your hand. You both did that, by the way. That was okay. Raise your hand if you think you have Erica's vote. Raise your hand if you think you have Phil's vote. Raise your hand if you think you have Sparks' vote. I'm going to dance around the board for a moment. Raise your hand if you think you have Jamie's vote. Raise your hand if you think you have Christian's vote. Tay's vote. Anna's vote. And the greatest player of all, Eric's vote. Yay! All right. And if you can turn around now. I was just curious about all that. That's great. So one of the things that I'm really think about when I look for a winner of a Big Brother game is game ownership. And what I mean by that is I want to give my vote to a person who I believe not only played the game, not only had the physical, social, and strategic elements of the game down, but they're able, through their opening statement and their questioning, and their answering the questions, that they are able to own every aspect, every blemish, everything about their game. And I would be the person I would be proud to vote for. So my question to you is, why do you believe that you have established more ownership of your game than the person sitting next to you? So why do you think you've established more ownership of your game compared to the person next to you? So because Susie went first last time, I'll have Crystal go first and then Susie.
I think ownership of my game has had to come completely down to this jury questioning. Susie had like kind of the luxury of playing an out in front game, and she was really phenomenal at it. And I think coming into this, like, she was probably like an obvious winner. But I think that this has been an uphill battle for me, and I know what I have done in this game. And I came here to this questioning to answer as honestly and openly as possible in hopes that I could get across everything that I did in this game, because like I said, I think it was very unseen. I knew it was going to be a tough sell, but it was the game I had to play because I was never going to beast out in these comps. It wasn't going to happen. And most of the people on the jury outside of like Stoner, I have worked with in some capacity here and there in the game. Eric, we were like aligned in a lot of ways, and the vote you went out on was definitely not what I would have preferred to happen at the time. Like, I didn't always get my way, but I mean, I am glad Anna like came through because I really got to know her and love her, and I'm glad I kind of got that time with her. but I thought keeping you was to the benefit of both Susie and Christian, who were also tight with me. But you would kind of like talk to Susie in a way that like raised her antenna against you, like working with Christian so much, which is the reason you went out. And despite me, I couldn't explain that, like, no, he'll be with us. Like, he'll be with us because the four of us will be with each other going against the three of them. And I couldn't reveal that. And there was just a lot I couldn't reveal throughout the game. So I'm really hoping through the questions, and I hope whatever questions are left will kind of clear up what I've done in the game, because like I said, it's been a real uphill battle for me because I couldn't really show what I was doing when I was playing. I couldn't even kind of explain it on the way out the door for fear that I would get blown up right on the spot. So I've kind of had to do all my work right here.
All right, quick follow-up before I go to Susie. You said that my vote out was not what you preferred.
No.
So why did I hear in like the half hour before my vote out that you were saying that I was the one pushing the Sparks vote?
I didn't say you were pushing the Sparks vote. What I said was that here's the thing. Here's what I heard. Here's what I was told.
Okay.
That you went and told people that I was pushing the Sparks vote, and what our communications were directly was I said, look, I had presented the case logically to you. It was to both of our benefits to vote out Sparks. I really liked working with you because despite the fact that I felt like you threw me under the bus a lot to other people, I felt like you could listen to and take in logic. And I thought our games were aligned to a point that like we both desired the same things and both outcomes benefited us. So that's like a big reason that I was just like, no, I want Eric around because we're both like on the same page. We're both trying to work with these same other people. We both kind of got put in the same boat by kind of Phil's actions. And like, we both want the same thing. And we understand that like, okay, so Sparks and Jamie are pushing this whole, like, get out, like save the big threats, get out the like under the radar people, which we were voted. And we were just on the same page. Right. So what happened was, we had talked about this before that round even happened. I told you, I was like, I want to do something big. And then I kind of came back to you and I was like, I don't want to nominate like Sparks directly. Like, it's just not something I would have done. I was like, if he's up there, like, we got to take a shot. But I was going to go for Jamie and Tay because I wanted Jamie out. And I told you that. And you know that about me. So when Spark was up there, we talked about it. We both knew it was in our best interest to take him out. And then when we talked about it, I gave you so many opportunities. I said, are you sure you want to do this? Do you want to do this? I think it's best for us. Do you want to do this? Do you want to weigh out? Like, I asked you a bunch of times. You're like, no, I want to do this. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's do this. Let's lock in. Let's do this. So we both got there together. And even though you were pushing the narrative to people that like it was me and you were trying to save Sparks, we were both equally like guilty of getting him out because it's what we both wanted.
Okay. I will definitely take all that into account there. Absolutely. Susie, original question to you. Game ownership and why you established it more than the person sitting next to you.
I don't think I have, honestly. I don't think I have explained my game as much as Crystal has. I think that I answer the questions but don't explain further. I'm a little bit scatterbrained and I haven't really owned everything that I've done. There's a lot of my game that people don't know. Everyone thinks that like Crystal keeps saying I have the luxury of having an out there game, which yeah, I was targeted for it the whole time. And people only see this competition game, but I had other aspects of my game. And when I sat on the block against Jamie, Anna came to me and said, I'm 100% voting out Jamie. Crystal's the swing vote. We got to get Crystal. And I knew that Crystal was going to say the same thing about Anna. And yeah, there was some waffling in there, but both of them came to me and were like, we're doing this. And I definitely heavily relied on Crystal to confirm that with Anna once Anna had talked to Jamie. And I knew that Jamie had really good arguments. Like, I knew he was going to fight like hell to stay. And I knew that his arguments made sense from his perspective. But there was a point in this game where people kept calling me like the biggest threat, and yet, like I said, it did not make sense for Crystal or Anna to take me out. And like, I had a huge hand in the Erica vote, and I specifically did not tell Crystal because I was not 100% confident Jamie was going to do that. And I didn't want to tell Crystal because Crystal kept telling me, I will vote in the majority. I will vote in the majority. Just tell me what's going to happen. I will vote out Erica if that's what's happening. And I didn't want to make her a swing vote if Jamie didn't end up voting that way. I was fine voting in the minority. I've established I did not care if I was voting in the minority at any point in time. I was going to vote the way that I felt comfortable with, even if that ended up biting me. And fortunately it didn't, but lost my train of thought.
No, you're good. That's great. No, I think that really kind of helps me out. Unless there was more. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
There is.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so after like I explained to Crystal that like I didn't want it to hurt her game if it was going to hurt mine. Like I didn't want to make her do something she didn't want to do. And then she did push really hard for me to not put you up and for me to not take you out. And that mixed with the way that you like unprompted tried to reassure me that you weren't working with Christian made me wary that the three of you had something. And I was kind of playing in the middle of working with Jamie and Tay and working with you and Crystal. And I knew that Christian and I were never going to work together in this game. He made it very clear early on. Like after he put me up, I said, hey, I get it. No worries. We can still work together. And he artfully avoided answering. Like he had no intention of ever working with me. And I respect that. But I couldn't trust you fully because I felt like you were lying to me. And Crystal kept saying, we can use him. It doesn't matter if he's lying. We know that we can use him. And it did not make sense for me to keep you at that point. And that's why it was a unanimous vote, because everyone knew I was going to break the tie in favor of Anna. Because I felt like even if I couldn't necessarily 100% trust that Anna wasn't coming after me, I knew I could believe what she was saying to my face more because I was getting conflicting stories from you and Crystal. And at that point, I had more reason to believe Crystal because she came to me first and straight up said, yeah, I know you're going to be mad about this, but this is why we did it. And we did have that conversation earlier where a day or two prior, I had put in my DR a whole thing of, I can't take out Jacob, but I need other people to do it for me. I would have gone to the end with him just fine. That's where a little bit the emotion comes in, is I was not emotionally prepared to, at that point, turn on someone who fought so hard for me in this game. But I also knew sitting at the end, I was unlikely to beat him. And Crystal and I had that conversation of, hope someone does it, but it's not going to be me. And I think we both came into that conversation like, let's plant the seeds of someone needs to take out Sparks. But we don't want to do it. So
right.
There's a lot of like little things throughout the game. And Crystal and I did work together very closely throughout this game. And I think that is a piece that a lot of people are missing, especially with Crystal's game, is a lot of the decisions were based on the fact that we wanted to go to the end together.
Really quick follow-up question. How early was that final two between you and Crystal?
Day 9. Day 9 is when it was written down first. I don't know if we had a call earlier.
Okay.
Cool. Earlier for me.
Okay, cool. That was just it. So
yeah,
just to kind of wrap this up.
Earlier, I went back to the DR and looked at the first time it was written down in the message, and it was Day 9.
Awesome. Well, to just quickly wrap this up, because I know Josh is about to get the cane and like pull me off to the side. Anyway, but I just want to say to both of you, and no matter who I vote for, my decision, I've learned a lot so far, and my decision is definitely up in the air at this point. But I want to say to both of you, Crystal, you will always be my Mrs. Lovett, no matter how I vote. And if you come to Detroit and Sweeney Todd's in town, we'll go see it. It'll be really, really awesome. And Susie, I think you've done something which I think is impossible when you're playing in a game with me. I think when I know I'm very aware that I definitely give very strong dad joke, goofy vibes, and that I know that when you first meet me for the first time, you're either like, I like Eric or fuck Eric, And sorry, I didn't mean to say that. It was my bad. But bleep Eric. But you've done something where we went from that to me really, really liking you. And I think that is the epitome of an Eric Taylor social game too. So no matter how I vote, I love you both. You're both fantastic. And Josh, get your box in here and kick me out of the call.
Eric, bye. All right. Next up is Jamie.
Hello, folks. How are you?
Hi.
How are you?
I'm all right. So I'm coming in here with like some conflicting opinions because Susie, you played a game that like I don't think anyone here could do. We pushed you into a box where you had to fight from the corner and you were in survival mode a lot of the time because of the way that we treated you. We forced you to have to win these competitions. We didn't really open doors to you. And while a bit of your flaw in this game was in the early social game where you couldn't build quicker relationships than some of the other people, because you said like it does take time to warm up to you and you wanted to like do that. And a lot of us are a bit more bigger personalities and people draw to us a bit quicker. So your early game was kind of hard for you. And then when you got put into a non-box pretty quickly, you had to fight for your life and you've been fighting for a while. And I think the fact you've been fighting for so long to me is so impressive. I call it our funeral when we had our conversation and, we talked and I was like, you're playing a phenomenal game and something that there's no reason you should be staying here right now. But I think the fact that I was fighting for my life that round and you already knew you had the votes, I'm dumb. I wasted how much time and good on you to build those. No, good on you to build those relationships because you as a player, we all saw the wins. We all saw this, but you didn't have the luxury of being able to hide behind people and do things like that. You had to go out there and actually win things. And the fact that I hear that you actually had these alliances that clutched you safety and around that to me is illogical as to why you stayed is great that you built these relationships that ultimately saved you. And like, it's great that you had that. And I think, I don't want to sit here because we all saw you win competition after competition and there's no one in the game who can say they even came close. Well, Christian, but who can say they came close. And so I don't want to sit here and do that, but people are not valuing the aspect of in this game. Yes, there's power in your words and power in the moves you make. But at the end of the day, to have power, you have to win power. And people, I don't think, are valuing that on the jury. And I'd like to challenge the jury to actually think about that because a lot of the reason we're all sitting here is because none of us actually have the ability to win something and save ourselves. So let's also give a bit more credit there because that's huge. The other thing I want to say, so I guess Crystal, in this game, you said you wanted to work in the majority or vote in the majority a lot of the time. And you did do that pretty successfully. Now, the thing here is like, when you say you want to be in the majority of the house and you want to do all these things, when you're also claiming to want to play the middle, it gets confusing to me because like you pissed off a lot of people. And I fully admit there's something that's similar between our game is we both played the middle. We both were trying to suck up to Susie when she was the HOH, then to Christian. Or maybe not suck up isn't the word I would use, but we were both in their ear, both making sure we wouldn't be nominated, both doing all these sort of things. And people in the jury have compared your game to mine. And the thing that really irks me about that is the way that you left people feeling pissed off when they left. And I fully went into the jury expecting to be lambasted and hated and roasted and burned at the stake. And they welcomed me pretty nicely. And then I was really shocked to hear how they spoke really poorly of you. They said that Crystal left a really bad taste in their mouth. Crystal did all these things. And tonight you've come out here and explained your game a lot, but why should like me, who was fighting for my life literally the whole day, and you dodge my calls, did all these things, even give you a chance to answer a question right now because you didn't give me a chance to fight for my life for real. You didn't do that with Sparks. You didn't do that with a lot of people who are sitting here who are fighting for this spot in the game, and they're all livid at you because if you're going to play the middle, you got to be able to have people not be angry at you when they leave. And I feel like you didn't do that successfully. And so I do want to give you the chance, obviously, to speak here, even though like I felt like I didn't get it from you when I was fighting for my life, because I've heard you say some things tonight that I'm really, I guess, interested in. And I think I did say like people have kind of compared your game to mine, and obviously you did it more successfully because you're sitting here at the end. But I want to hear how you thought you could overcome potentially bitter jurors because you pissed off a lot of people.
Would you like me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I know I pissed off a lot of people and that was unintentional. I also didn't mean to play in the middle. I was just really bought in with Susie and really bought in with Christian. And honestly, they both like that they wouldn't work together was like one of the most frustrating aspects of the game, but I knew they wouldn't. But I was bought in with those two people who happened to be on opposite sides. And I was like a freaking like crazy soccer mom every time those two won anything. I was like, great. This one's in power. That one won veto. I love it. This one won power. That one won veto. I love it. Like I was their biggest cheerleaders throughout this game. Like my elation for their victories was so high because those were like my two people. And they just happened to be on opposite sides. It wasn't a trying to play in the middle thing for me. And additionally, I didn't know you leaving was a foregone conclusion. You leaving was a lot of work. And I went up to the clock on it. And when you called me after I sent you my messages, I took your call. Like I was mid recording my eviction. I took your call because I was just like, I got to take his call. Like, I'm not going to not take a call, especially if he's going out like this. And knowing that like I burnt people going out the way I did, I felt terrible about it because as I said earlier, I misinterpreted other people's emotional needs as like my emotional needs because mine are, I need to process, don't waste my time. I already know you're voting me out. It's fine, whatever, leave me alone. Other people needed me to check in on them more. And that was like one of my biggest failures on top of trusting Phil in this game. And I have like owned both of those failures. But I took your call and I listened to you. And I knew that at that point, you were literally the only, like you were the, like my last big target left in the game. And like, if I could get you out at that point, I was going to. And I didn't know, I did not know. And I knew Anna was bought in and then she wasn't. And I had to go back with that. And I had to like, make sure I like put like dotted I's and crossed T's to make this thing happen. It was not a foregone conclusion that Susie was staying. There was a lot of back and forth. And I had to work on that. And I was busy up until the wire. And then you were like my last person. I was literally like trying to pull my hair back and put a bit of lipstick on when you called. And much like I was on the phone with Anna up until like the Sparks vote out, I was on the phone with you up until your vote out, until production like creeped in and was like, Crystal, you have to vote. So as I've said before, my biggest flaws in this game have been not getting to the people who I had these relationships with at the end because I was working hard and I misinterpreted their needs as like what I needed. And that was wrong. And I feel shit about it. And also trusting Phil.
And so you said you don't feel like you played the middle and you don't felt like you sucked up in a sense. And I suck up isn't the word I want to use. I just can't think of the word. I guess the word is you don't feel like you played the middle, right? When it came towards Christian and Susie.
I feel like I was aligned closely with them and that was it, period.
So would it be fair to say a flaw of your game is you weren't able to get two people that you wanted to work with to work together?
That was a flaw in my game, but I feel like a lot of us had flaws. But sure, that was a flaw in my game. I kind of knew they were never going to work together, but I kind of accepted that.
Okay. And on the other end, like Susie, I'm not gonna lie, I'm your biggest cheerleader tonight. I know public speaking isn't your thing. I know this whole jury coming at you isn't your thing. But people in the jury I'm gonna say, like, Susie did put shit aside to work with people and get her allies to work with people who they otherwise wouldn't have worked with. You know, I think when Bitches R Us formed, that was a huge moment for Susie in the game because she got two people to work with her who that were honestly seeing her as one of her biggest threats. You know, she locked down things. She did things that all of us wish we could have done in terms of at the end of the game when you have that post-game clarity of, oh, if I could have just talked to this person. Susie actually did that in the game. She was able to be like, let me put aside the show with Jamie. I know he's a shady bastard, but working with him is in my benefit. And she locked down having me and Tay, and she was able to use that to make sure she got rid of Eric and nudge the people closer to her by doing that. She got people that otherwise probably were targeting her to work with her. And so I'm pretty happy with both of you. Like Crystal, I honestly came into tonight saying, I don't know if I would ever vote for Crystal, but you have done an amazing job tonight. And I think you have owned your game a fair amount, and I'll give you that. I feel really slighted that the way hearing that, like, my experience with how I left was how a lot of people felt when they left with you, really has me feeling kind of hard, because I like that you played the middle. In my opinion, you did. And if you don't want to admit it, that's fine. But I like that you played the middle. I just wish that you would kind of own up to that and know that when you're playing the middle, you hurt feelings. Yeah.
I fell into the middle. It did. Like, by default, I ended up in the middle. It was not an intention. But to me, that wasn't the middle, because I was coming for you. Like, you were my goal. Like, you were like a big threat in there. You were tight in with Tay. And for me, there wasn't a middle. It was just like, I was coming for you, period. Okay. Like, Susie knew it. Christian knew it. They both knew it. Like, I wasn't shy about it. I figured you probably knew it too. I didn't feel like you could ever. I was a really big fan of you early on in the game, and I wanted to work with you. And I was really glad that, like, you and I and Tay kind of like rekindled just like a friendship. But we never talked game. Like, I never.
A certain point in the game,
because I was like, I know I'm trying to get you, and I'm pretty sure if I'm not your direct target, like, I'm going to be used as a pawn. And I'm like, that's fine. I respect it. But like, to the middle wasn't the middle to me. Like, I was coming for you, period. And I didn't feel like I was in the middle in that capacity, I should say. Like, the middle to me was like, if I was targeting Christian to Susie and I was targeting Susie to Christian, and I never was. Like, I was always sort of like, why don't you leave them for later? Like, I was targeting you. So I wasn't in the middle in the sense that I was like, oh, Jamie, like, I'm totally on board with you. Like, I don't feel like I gave you that impression.
No, I think we definitely grew apart after the Erica vote.
We did. And I really was genuinely glad to reconnect with you. And on the way out, I know a lot of people went out bitter, and I said this to Tay, I really appreciated that you, on the way out, when you were giving kind of your final pleas, was like, I don't think this is best for your game, but like, I hope we're cool after this. And I really appreciated that. And it's something I hope I can have with everybody, however everybody votes, whether I win or lose, whatever. Like, this has been an amazing experience, and I've really enjoyed getting to know all of you.
Yeah, I might be pretty heated right now. We're going to be friends after this. You know that. I'm not.
Like, but whatever you do, it's fine.
I feel like for me, I want to vote for someone who, at every time they had an option, they intentionally made the best decision they could have. And explaining that is part of the battle. But at the end of the day, do you fault someone who can't argue what they did, but they did what they had to do correctly? Or do you give credit to someone who maybe can argue that what they did was successful, but it wasn't necessarily always the right move? And
I felt like everything I did was the right move for me. Taking you out at that point and severing the tie between you and Tay was the right move. Leaving both of you in, knowing that neither of you was ever going to prioritize me over each other, was like not the thing for me moving forward. So it was the right move for me at that point. I know you didn't understand how tightly I was working with Susie at that point. Maybe you did. I don't know. I don't presume to know what everybody knew, but I knew it was hard to understand, but I also knew I couldn't explain it because you would blow up the spot going out the door, and I couldn't have that.
Yeah. And I guess, Susie, I haven't really given you a chance to speak about anything, but is there anything about in our relationship in the game that you think that I don't know that I should know now before I'm potentially voting? Or you don't know that I might already know?
Sure. Also, first, like, I want to I have the stats and I would like to give them because I haven't yet. And you
Okay.
that was the first thing you talked about. Everybody looks at Anna as constantly being the person who was always on the block. She was nominated 6 times. I was nominated 5. I just happened to win POV 4 of those times. I won 1 HOH pre-jury and 2 powers of veto. And everyone said, you're a competition threat. You got to just win out for the rest. Otherwise, we're taking you out. And I didn't. And I didn't have to. You know, after live night, Crystal when I was safe, Eric when I was safe, Jacob when I was safe. I don't think anyone else would have put me up except for Christian, which we just went back and forth. But I won 10 competitions. I lost 13. There were 6 I didn't play. For the record, 8 is the most wins anyone has had in a season before. In terms of our relationship, Jamie, I did play the middle, and I will own that. I was working with Crystal, who I knew was targeting you and Tay, and I was working with you and Tay. And that was difficult for me to navigate because I genuinely wanted to work with both of you. And honestly, being put on the block next to you wasn't fun, but it was kind of the best thing for my game. And losing Jacob, not fun, best thing for my game. Same with honestly losing Carly. Sorry. Anything about our relationship that you don't already know? I don't think so. I think that I was pretty upfront with you. You were one of the people that I was most honest with.
Mm-hmm.
And most like, I tried to be honest with everyone, but it was the most like, almost use the F word. Not, I don't know another word for forthcoming, but I was the most like voluntarily giving you information.
Yeah.
Because I really like at one point when they asked us who would you want to sit at the end with, I was like, honestly, I will sit at the end with Jacob or Jamie. I know that everyone thinks that they will win. I'm confident enough in my game that I will sit next to anyone.
Yeah.
And like I would have gone as far as possible with you.
Yeah.
And I'm like glad that I never had to make that decision.
Yeah. Honestly. And in our funeral, I think we both said the person we were both nervous sitting against the end with was each other. And I appreciate that. And I think there was a sense of truth there. And I think the thing that with your game, the key thing with you and Crystal, me and Crystal started out high together and it started going down. With you, literally the week you won HOH week 2, I was so friggin' paranoid. I won't even lie. I was like, oh, I'm in trouble. And thank God Erica was a co-HOH because I knew she had my back. And from there, it felt like our relationship always went up and up and up. And I appreciate, I mean, it was jaggedy, but it was a slow climb to the moon, Dogecoin. But I appreciate having played with this game with you. I really think you did a lot. I think obviously this isn't your strong suit, getting grilled and yelled at and whatever, but like
speaking in general, yeah.
But I really do appreciate that. I do think you made the right moves during the game. You were able to own them, and you put yourself maybe at a bit of risk by some of the moves you made, but you're able to back it up and do what you had to do to get here. So, good job, both of you. You both have been honestly doing. Crystal, you've literally done so good tonight. So you're making this a hard decision, and good job. But I think it's a game that speaks for itself a little bit for the most part, and a game that has a lot of explaining to do, and you've both done a good job at explaining what we didn't know coming in tonight. I said, yeah, okay, well, last one, and then we'll leave before Josh kills me.
Sorry. I would like to point out that the best things that happened to Susie's game were both on me, getting out you and Sparks.
I would argue that it was you and Anna that got out Jamie. I don't want to discount anything that Anna did in that situation because I think
Anna was phenomenal. Anna and I think if Anna was sitting here, she would be the winner.
Crystal, I have to argue. I think that move to get me, yes, I'll give you that. Christian, I think, was the one who got Sparks here. I would say Christian was the one that was coming to me, locking down I was going to keep Tay 99% of the time. Christian was the one in everyone's DMs. And you're saying you went from call to call, but we had one call where you're like, what are you doing, Jamie? Blah, blah, blah. And I know that it's like a little bit of the strategy you're saying here, but I felt like, honestly, when I was in the call with you, like I had to argue that, yeah, I'm doing it. And that gave you the reassurance. So, yeah.
Christian and I both discussed this and we both had a plan. His job was to go watch out for you and to make sure you were assured in Sparks.
Mhm.
My job was to go watch out for Eric and to make sure he was locked in Sparks. So the reason I didn't put my energy into you in that particular vote is because that Christian and I had divided duties, and Christian was on you and I was on Eric.
Mm-hmm. But doesn't it seem, I guess right now in the moment when you're sitting here at the end where it's like, isn't it convenient to say that that's what it was when
That's what it was.
but it felt like for a lot of us, Christian was the one going out and doing the work. It felt like we had to convince you that we were doing this, and whether or not that's the truth, that's obviously what we're finding out. And Christian obviously can tell us this, but I felt like Christian, from my point of view, and from a lot of people voting, was the one going and saying, "This is what I'm going to do."
I was tight in the way I've been tight in with Susie. I was tight in with Christian, and I have the utmost faith that if you go back and have your chat, if Christian decides to own up with what we did, that was our plan that round. I was to go to make sure, and in fact, the plan was for me to talk to Eric all the way up into the vote, but then I got sort of intercepted by Anna, and she took up the rest of my time. And then the point was for him to make sure you were in on that vote, because Sparks is like a badass, and there was no way I was going to take a shot unless I knew we had the votes on board to do it. So we divided duties and we went out and did our jobs. And like I said, Christian was on you, I was on Eric, and we went from there.
I'm gonna go ahead and move us along at this point.
No, but I'm learning so much, Josh.
All right, Jamie, you have any last things to say?
Yes, Susie, you had your hand up.
Yeah,
just a little bit of that strategy, Crystal, is a little bit of what people are complaining about. You were running down the clock. You said that your goal was run down the clock with Eric.
On that vote, yes.
Yes, which, for me and Jacob, that was really disrespectful.
I'm sorry. I knew he was, Jacob was such a threat to all of us in this game, and I knew I had to use whatever tactics I could to make sure it happened the way it did.
I know. And you could have told me that at the beginning of the day, and I would have been like, okay, I know what your strategy is. There's nothing I can do. I'm just going to accept that and be fine with it, instead of the emotional roller coaster that I had to go through once again.
I am really sorry I put you through that, and I think you're a strong player, and I think you could have done something about it, and I just couldn't.
Not if you guys were monopolizing each other's time. If you're just going to sit on a call with them, there's literally nothing I could have done. So
I ended up on a call with Anna toward the end. Eric was a free agent to do whatever he wanted.
Okay, Josh, you can kick me out.
All righty. Thank you, Jamie, very much. Next up, Queen Chikorita. Here she is.
Oh, hi. Can you flip them? This is bothering me that it's not. Thank you. It was bothering me. It's not the way it was 2 minutes ago before we flipped all this. Okay. Where was I? Oh, Susie. I don't really have any questions for you, but I feel like you had that moment where you said you haven't really talked through everything that you needed to at the moment. So I'm going to let you kind of address those moments that you need to really solidify what you need to say. Oh, actually, I do have a question. Pause before I let you jump in. Where's my picture in your boneyard? Because
yeah. So about that.
Blocked. I'm kidding.
No, honestly, what it started as was a tribute to my fallen allies, to people that I worked with.
Oh, well, we weren't allies, so that's okay, girl. All right. Love that for me. I should have been on the other side, just fallen bitches I hated to my left. My friends and this bitch that kept coming for me every 2 damn days. That's what it was, girl. That's tea.
That's so.
Okay, now back to our actual question. I'll let you speak on anything that you need to.
Yeah, I think Jamie kind of spoke to it. One of the biggest things that I did was people did me dirty in this game constantly, and turns out so did Crystal this whole game, and that's why I'm pretty emotional. But essentially from jump, I was put into this corner that I had to play in. Nobody wanted to play with me, and you and I would talk about it, and you'd be like, yeah, me too, and you're like in a bunch of alliances.
Okay, no.
You were at least in the Baker's Dozen at that point when we had
Which I was, yes. Baker's Dozen was the only one I was in. The only person that I was actually close to from the Baker's Dozen was Crystal. Crystal was the only person that would talk to me every day. That would be the only person that would talk to me game-wise. No one else was coming to me unless I was winning power. So I was very, very on the bottom of everything. And Crystal was that guiding light for me to be like, we're going to soundboard, and I just need you to listen. But continue. I'm sorry.
Throughout the game, especially early, there were a lot of times when people just wouldn't talk to me. You know, like I was on the block and no one would talk to me until I went POV. And then people would start talking to me again. And I felt like I had no maneuverability in this game. And so I had to create that for myself. And I talked a lot about, I wasn't going to let people walk all over me. I wasn't going to let people use me to play their game. And like I straight up told Jamie, I was like, the way you treated me is not okay. Tay, the way you treated me is not okay. Anna, the way I treated you is not okay. And I was able to repair those and work with people who had wronged me, but not in a way where I was like, oh no, this is okay, like everything's fine. I made sure that people knew I will work with you, but you don't get to tell me what to do. And I called a lot of shots, and some of them missed, but it was never detrimental when it missed. You know, I put up you and Eric and said, whichever one goes, I don't care. Like at that point when I put the two of you up, both of you were not helpful to my game. And choosing between Tay and Crystal, they were both people I had worked with very closely in this game. Day 0, I gave out a first impression rose, and that went to Tay. And that was someone that I really cared about and wanted to
I'm
work
sorry, you
with.
gave out a what?
A first impression rose?
The hell is that, girl?
I'm sorry, have you never seen The Bachelor or The Bachelorette?
I'm gay. I'm not that gay, baby.
Anyways, basically, like, the person that I felt the best about Day 0 was Tay.
Oh, okay.
And we worked together very closely in this game. I felt closer with Crystal at the end, and I felt like Anna and Crystal kept me in this game, and that it would be like really disrespectful of me to turn on that. And I also got the sense that you and Eric were working together. I don't know that that's true. But
I think the only time we'd actually worked together was when we were like, Phil had gone and we're like, me and Crystal were already at the bottom here. Yeah. Apparently she wasn't, but I was very at the bottom there. And I'm like, I need a third person.
I got that sense, and when I brought it up to Crystal like tried to shut it down. To me, it felt like she was trying to shut it down hard. So I was like, I feel like I have to do this now. And I knew that you were never going to try and work with me. Like, we've had the conversation. I tried to be like, we can still work together. And you're like, can we though?
Okay, so let's go back. I would have done that deal at Final 5 had Crystal told me that no matter who I put up, she was going to vote out Jamie. Then I would have like stuck to my word at that point.
Yeah,
granted, it's gonna be too fucking late, I'm sure, because that's that Final 5, girl. Like you're too
honestly, like if you had not put me up in that situation, I would not have put you up.
Damn you, Crystal girl! You got me.
I didn't know I had on
shady lady right there, baby.
I'm so sorry. I was like your biggest cheerleader, both of you. You were my people.
Like
we could have both your people a little bit further, girl.
I'm sorry. I tried to get you to put up Tay. I
But
did.
actually, me going up there was the best thing because I would have stuck with that deal, but I know that getting you out was what I needed to do.
Right.
And so, like, you putting me up, I was like, oh, don't have to honor
We're free. We're free. We're free.
I was like, I tried to tell you, Christian. I was like, you need to put up Tay, and you didn't listen to me.
But
I didn't want to force you either.
Yeah, one of the things that, like, Crystal and I both did, and we talked about doing, was let people blow up their own games.
You didn't blow up your own game.
Okay, I was like,
but you know, like when something wouldn't go someone's way, we're like, just stay calm, don't make a big deal about it. Other people will make a big deal about it, and they'll make themselves a target because of it. And that happened time and time again. And that, in addition to a social game, was one thing that really helped Crystal, which in turn helped me.
Right.
And like I said, I did play the middle. I didn't necessarily intend to, but again, the people I wanted to work with were not going to work together. And so I was like, but however, it was very much like, it was obviously different sets of people. And I never had to make a decision between them because I kept getting targeted.
Right.
And I think that was, I kept saying, I'm going to get sniped for playing the middle. But I don't know how much people knew that the trio was not Anna, Jamie, and Tay. It was Jamie, Tay, and I. And that was one thing that we intentionally did, was let them think you guys are a trio because Anna will be the one who gets targeted. But Anna was also someone that I wanted in this game. That's what was really interesting, was trying to figure out who I really wanted to keep in this game. And I think you actually helped make a lot of those decisions for me.
You're welcome, sis. Us unofficially working together, but yet us unofficially working together, yet working together. And yes, girl, that was our plan the whole time.
Right? Yeah. But I made sure that I was always making moves that were good for me, even if it wasn't good for everyone I was working with. You know, like Crystal said, me taking out Eric was not necessarily what Crystal wanted, but it's what I.
Neither did I, but.
Sorry.
No, baby, I tried.
We tried, girl. We really tried. And we're like, it's going to tie. And
Like,
that girl, Susie, she's going to fuck it up and she's going to vote him out anyway. So let's not do it. Let's not do it. Let's not make people angry. Let's just vote him out.
That was one thing, is I told Anna and I had a conversation actually about, we want Eric to go. What is the best way to make that happen? And we kind of both settled on the fact that putting her up would be the best move.
Oh, I get you. I did that too, girl.
Yeah, and
I did my maps. I said who is voting where and what's doing that, and I got you.
Yeah, so Anna knew beforehand that she was never going to go anywhere, because I was worried about burning that bridge because I didn't want to. And she is someone who I had a really good personal relationship with. Like, I really love and respect her as a person and as a game player, and knew she was playing a phenomenal game and didn't want to do her dirty like that. And I think making it known to everyone that I would break the tie for Anna is what made it a unanimous vote. And I think that's also what happened with you, was everyone knew that I was going to break the tie.
Right.
Tie, and that's what made it a unanimous vote. So,
yeah. Shady eyes at Crystal. Anyways.
That's fine, baby. I was asking you to do it.
All right, we gotta get this thing moving. Christian, you got anything else?
Oh, you act like I had all the time in the world,
No,
girl.
look, I understand.
Okay, one last question.
Okay.
One word to describe your game overall. Susie starts.
Adaptive.
Adaptive. Crystal.
Bitch stole my word.
Bitch better get a new word. Hey.
She stole my word.
Your second word that would describe your gameplay.
Loyal, parentheses, to you and Susie.
I'll take it. And that is my cue. My age, whatever you call this, my black and white ass gotta go back.
Thank you, Christian. All right, 2 more people, and then we're going to be getting towards the end. And she's been waiting all night because she is serving looks tonight. It is Tay Slay.
Hey, I stood up because I have an outfit on.
No, the whole outfit, please. Oh my goodness.
So, congratulations, ladies. I think Crystal's frozen on me, but I hope
she's frozen on me too.
Sorry.
Congratulations, ladies.
Thank
frozen
you.
I think you both have done an amazing job. I'm proud of both of you. Susie, I'm going to start with you. So, just in that last talk, I heard you say you felt like I did you dirty, and I'm confused by that because did you not rally against me to keep Sparks and rally against Crystal to keep Carly? 2 people who were allies too?
Yeah, so first of all, when I felt like you did me dirty was in the Underdog Alliance. Early
okay.
Sorry, not late game. When I had the conversation with you was after live night. That was when I felt like we were supposed to be in this alliance. We were supposed to be good. And then y'all formed an alliance to try and get rid of us. And that's when I felt like you did me dirty. And yes, I rallied to keep Carly and Jacob because that was part of my strategy. Like, I knew there was a chance it would work, but probably wasn't going to. But what it did was I ride hard for my allies. You want me as an ally because I will go to bat for you. And again, with the whole Carly thing, it wasn't so much directly trying to take out Crystal. I wanted Crystal in this game. Like, that was a really shitty situation. But I had a plan to figure out what was going on in this game with that. Figure out where there were cracks. Eric was like, I feel good, specifically with Jamie and Christian. And that is the reason that she gave me as to why she wasn't going to work with me in that instance, was because she felt better with the 2 of them. And with you and Jacob, like, I don't think there was, like, I was working with both of you, but I was working closer with Jacob at that point. And I don't think that that's like a giant surprise.
No, I was just saying how you felt like I did you dirty because...
Yeah, that was earlier.
Okay. I was going to say, because I know you've rallied against me multiple times, at least in this game.
What instances did I rally against you, other than when you were against Jacob?
Okay, well, that's the only time that I'm talking about. But
okay. Yeah, I did that.
But I have another question for you.
Okay.
I want you to tell me a strategic move that you made in the game when you had no power, not winning veto, not winning HOH.
A strategic move I made when I did not have power. I think one of the only times that I didn't have power winning either veto or HOH would be the Erica vote. And I'm not claiming that as my move. Like, I know that it was a group effort, but I think the combo of you, me, and Jacob talking to Jamie is what made that happen. Because at that
Do you
point,
have a move that you feel like is your move? If you're not claiming this as your move. Do you have a move that you could claim that was your move?
Yeah, there are moves that were my move. How I was empowered to make those. You know, like, looking at this game, when did I not win either HOH or POV? The first round, which Carly was in power, I was aligned with Carly. I didn't need to do anything there. I won the second HOH. The third HOH was Jamie. Jamie and I had a conversation. He was like, "You're good. Don't worry." And I said, "Bet." I didn't want to be viewed as someone who was controlling other people. So I knew that if I was safe, he talked about what he was thinking about doing. Cool. Then I was on the block and won POV. Then I was on the block and won POV. Then Crystal won, and didn't really have to do a whole lot. I knew exactly what her targets were and what she was going to do. Then it was the Erica vote, which was a group effort. And then Jacob was in charge, and I knew I was safe there. And then Phil essentially said, vote me out. Not really a strategic move to make there. And then I was on the block in one POV. And then I had power.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was the me versus Jamie vote, in which both Crystal and Anna felt that it was more beneficial to their game to keep me. And then I was HOH, and then I won POV. So like there was not a lot of time when I did not have power in this game. So that's a difficult question for me to answer. Sorry. I know that's not
okay. I want you to tell me, like, when you were on the block against Jamie, how did you convince Crystal and Anna? I mean, like, that to me is a strategic move.
Yeah, okay. I mean, Crystal and I were voting together. And Crystal came to me and said, there's no way I'm voting you out over Jamie. Also, like, she had been trying to take shots at Jamie for rounds. Anna comes to me and immediately is like, we're sticking together. Like, I'm voting out Jamie. And I know it went back and forth a little bit. And I knew that I couldn't be the one pressuring Anna to keep me. So I know that Crystal probably would have done it anyways. And I'm sure that you would have done it without me saying I don't really think I needed to. But I was like, hey, like, please check in with Anna. Like, I can't be the one doing this. And both of them told me that the other one was the swing vote. And I know that Jamie put in a lot of work. And I know that Crystal had the conversation with Jamie where Jamie told her the targets. And she used that to make sure that Anna knew that Jamie was going to come after her. I knew that I couldn't be the one delivering that information because that would have been weird coming from me. I couldn't be the person being like, hey, you know that, like, Jamie is doing all of this stuff, because I didn't want to be throwing him under the bus either, because he was also someone that I had a close relationship with, and I knew that Crystal and Anna needed to be the ones having the conversations with each other.
Okay. So your strategy there was to let them, your conversations with Crystal.
I had conversations with both of them in which they both knew that my next target was Christian, and that if they kept me, it was going to be Christian, and it was going to be you. Like, I wouldn't turn on them that quickly. Like, I wasn't going to do them dirty right after they saved me. So I just let them know, like, hey, like, if I win, which is likely, y'all are safe. And
okay, no,
yeah,
that's what I was looking for.
May I respond?
Sure.
Okay. Obviously, I was with Susie, and I wanted to keep Susie and Christian safe as long as possible in the game. That was what I was trying to do, and I hope you all see that now, and it might explain some of the things I did. But I talked to, as soon as I knew Christian was, like, gonna put you up, and I had to pretend like I didn't know, I went to Anna immediately. I was like, I went to work. I was just like, because I didn't know how tight you guys were. I was very much pushing the narrative of these three out, because it was important to me to always have a target that was not one of my allies to kind of push forward. And that's why calling me, like, working in the middle wasn't always accurate, because I always had, like, a target. So, and it was Jamie for a lot of the time. It took me a lot of rounds to get him out. But, like, Anna, I was like, okay, let me go talk to Anna. And she was a little on the fence about it. And Jamie and you really changed her mind. Like, she came back to me and she was just like, I don't know. They made a lot of great points. And, like, it was my work that got this done. And I know from Susie's standpoint, like, she wasn't able to advocate for herself. And, like, it was kind of my job to go advocate for her, because when you're on the block, like, people, like, say whatever, right? And Susie's a really strong player, and it gave me a great opportunity that I never got to have with Christian, was to show Susie my loyalty toward her, and that, like, hey, I'm going to go work for you. Can I win challenges and stuff? Not great at it. Wish I had. Wish I'd been able to pull you off the block. Wish I'd been able to, like, pull out a challenge for Christian sometimes, but I just wasn't. And what I was able to do is kind of talk to people and politic and, like, show, like, this is to your advantage, it's to my advantage. Let's do this. And I got Anna back on board when she had done a total about switch. Like you and Jamie got to her, like you guys did the job. Like she was ready to keep Jamie. And like I went in and I had to run interference again and let her know like what was up and that Jamie was coming after her, at least according to what he said to me. I don't know. He could have just been telling me that to make me feel better about keeping him. I don't pretend to know everything, but that was what the vote was. And that's what I worked toward. And I was really glad to have that opportunity to show Susie how much in her like team I was and how much I wanted to work with her. And I was glad to have the opportunity. So sorry. I'm like, okay, ask your question. I'm sorry. The wine's getting to me.
No. It's okay. It's okay. I guess we'll switch to Crystal. I have a lot of notes. Sorry. If you had won the veto in the final four, would you have taken Susie with you to the end?
Yes.
Oh. And late in the game, you told me pretty much like a few days ago, which sounds crazy, that we had an unspoken thing. I want to know how many people you felt like you had an unspoken thing with, and did you actually have a spoken final two with anyone else in the game?
I had a spoken final two with Susie and Christian, and I had a late game spoken final two with Anna. Like one of my biggest regrets is not getting to know her sooner, because I just think she's like a freaking treasure and I wish I'd gotten to know her. With you early in the game, like I wanted to go to the end with you. You're going to see in confessionals, I was just like, oh my God, the fantasy would be to be sitting here at the end with Tay. I would love that. But we just kind of got divided. We got on different sides. At the point, Phil had his whole like blow up and threw me under the bus. I was like, there's no way that Jamie and Tay are ever going to trust me at any point in the rest of this game. And I would have been happy to sit here at the end with any of the final five. Like I had a fondness for all of you, and I would have been happy to sit here with any of you. I did not say the unspoken thing with any of you. And you had told Susie about like what I said. And I'm like, yeah, I did have an unspoken thing with you because I have felt like a genuine connection with you from day one. But I had a very spoken thing with Christian and Susie, and then eventually with Anna.
Okay. So even though you had a spoken thing with Susie and Anna, you would have taken who if you'd won tonight, would you have taken to the final?
I would have taken Susie. We had a earlier game. We had just like an earlier agreement toward it. And I was just going to see it through. The same thing if Christian would have been here against anybody else, I would have taken Christian. If Christian and Susie would have been here, like honestly, throughout the game, I got asked by production a lot, like, who's your like number one? And it went back and forth. It depended on what was like going on in the game at that point. And I was like, I would be shocked if I have both of my final two sitting at the end and I have the option. Like that was like a weird pipe dream I never thought would happen. So I was a little less worried about it, but I went back and forth on what I might do if I got there.
Okay. Susie, I want you to just tell me what you feel like was your best social connection in this game or social move or something.
It changed throughout the game. If you had asked me before tonight, I would have said Crystal. And that's probably still accurate. I'm just and I think like the person that I connected with the most, like that is that what you mean? Or like what was the most beneficial? Like what?
I mean most beneficial to your game. So someone you connected with socially or did socially that you felt like enhanced your game overall.
I think Crystal.
Okay,
I think it helped a lot up until he went out. And then it was Crystal in the end game, which is when I think I needed it more.
Okay. I think you both are amazing people. I'm very excited to have gotten to know you both. I think you both played an amazing game, and I'm excited to see what happens.
Thank you very much, Tay.
Yeah.
And we're going to close this out. Final juror, we just saw a few minutes ago, or hours ago at this point, but here's Anna.
Hi everyone. Hi girls. So first of all, I just wanted to say I love you both so much. Like in a personal level, I always say this word in this game, I know, but like in a personal level, I really love you both. I know that Susie, you're the comp queen. You slayed this game, and don't come from my place as the block queen, because I was there 7 fucking times.
Close.
No. Give me credit for this, okay?
Oh, 100%. You were the final mom more than anyone else in this game.
But yeah, and Crystal, you. Oh gosh, let me just. The guys in the Zoom are talking.
Oh,
Yeah, now I left. Okay, so and Crystal, you played an amazing game, and like it was the way you did it was phenomenal because most of the people didn't see it coming and they underestimated you and all that. And right now, like I really feel that in many times I was really clueless because I had no idea what was going on, and a lot of things I'm finding out right now in the jury was like, oh gosh, I didn't know this. But anyway, like and first of all, Crystal, you already know this, but that's why I target you first because I knew that you were talking to a lot of people and you had a phenomenal social game. And anyway, like both of you are amazing. But yeah, like the first thing I need to ask you, both of you, is like, because I've been approaching this game saying like, if I have to say something, I will. Of course, sometimes it's hard, but right now I'm just curious. It's not something like, oh, I'm like, okay, you can't lie, but I want to know what was your biggest lie to me. Either of you can start.
I will say when you were gunning for Susie and Carly, like I was also gunning for Carly, and that was my hope that she would go out in that round. I was never gunning for Susie. That was my biggest lie. Otherwise, we've been like candid. Also that like
kinda
you were like, if Susie wasn't there, like I would have loved to have gone to the end with you, but I had to.
And if it wasn't Christian as well, like you said, right?
Well, Christian was gone at that point. Like if it were honestly like yeah, like you Christian and Susie were like my people and the people I wanted most to sit with at the end. But yeah, basically saying like, yeah, I'm cool with you taking out Susie, thinking like I'm not. I hope Carly goes out, and it's what happened.
Yeah, like I know that my HOH was a mess, and like I tried to come back from that because really after that I felt sorry for nominating Susie for some stuff that was all of in my mind, and then I put you in a way that, I mean, you took it more personal than I thought you would. But yeah, like I appreciate you telling me this right now because
I wanted people to feel very uncomfortable to nominate me. I didn't want to become like a pawn star. So I wanted people I know, babe, and you were a rock star, but like I wanted people to see that nominating me would be uncomfortable.
Yeah. And it was.
Yeah. Sorry.
So Susie?
I'm trying to think. Like, I'm sure there are things that I said that were not completely truthful, but there's nothing that stands out as like, yep, intentionally deceived on that one. Like, I genuinely tried to be as honest as possible with you. I definitely, when it was you versus Jamie and you asked, like, I have your vote if it comes to this, I just didn't answer because at that time I was leaning towards saving Jamie. Obviously, one of the things that I do, I will listen to anyone at any point. Like, even when Christian was like, hey, would you use the veto on me? I'm like, no, but I'll hear your argument because I want everyone to have the chance. And a lot of times my opinion does change. I played an open and flexible game. So that was one instance where I didn't tell you exactly what I was thinking in that case because I didn't know what I was going to do. because I was working very closely with Jamie and Tay, and at that point, when you asked, I was like, I'm probably gonna save Jamie here, so I'm just not gonna answer because I don't know what's gonna happen with the POV. But I don't know if there was like a direct.
Yeah. Oh, that's fine. I
I'm
mean,
sure we'll find out after the game, and I will own whatever I said.
yeah. So I'll just I'm going to ask another thing because like I didn't know I had to ask this, but now after like coming to the jury group and seeing that there's a lot of people taking credit for other people's games and all this kind of stuff. So I just want to know if you girls could have made anyone else's move, like you think, oh, this was a move that I wish I had done. What would it be?
I liked all my moves. I did what I could with the power I had. I know that it's like, okay, Crystal didn't have much power because she didn't win these competitions, but what I had in almost every round was the power of my vote, and I used it every time the way I could, the best I could. And once you're HOH and you throw those two noms out there, like your power's gone. Like I had power up until the nominations and I used it. And I also positioned myself in a way that like every time someone was HOH, it wasn't in their best interest to like go after me. And that was very purposeful. Also, downplaying my skills and ability, my lack of knowledge about what was going on was all a part of it. Did I throw comps? I threw one comp. Otherwise, I lost all of them. I threw the touchy subjects comp because I didn't want to get outed as being so in touch with everybody, and production has the evidence. I would have won it, but at that point I knew it was maybe a risk for me not to win it, and I was looking forward to that comp because I was like, that's something I can win. But I would have scored a point higher than Jacob in that comp, but I knew in that position I don't want to win this one. Phil just had his whole thing. He's the biggest target. It seems like a wasted comp, and I wanted to be able to play in the next round.
Yeah, okay, I feel you. Like I was playing almost like the same way in the beginning, like the downsizing thing, and I really appreciate your effort because it took us both here to the top 3, and then like both of you tricked me.
Honestly, if you would have been here, like you would have had my vote. I think your game was like a hybrid of Susie and I's game, and I really thought like you played the best game. And I told Susie that. I'm like, she's sitting here, she's getting my vote, period. Because I just think you played the best game out of the two of us. And for a long time, like Susie felt very out in front, and it felt like a mountain that was like impossible to scale because she had played such a great out in front game and everybody knew what she was doing. And I know no one knew what I was doing. And you were playing this amazing hybrid of what the two of us did. And even if I had won and if I were playing from a game standpoint, I probably still would have had to bring Susie because I think you played the superior game out of the two of us because you were able to take both things and like meld them together.
I really appreciate this.
It really is how I feel, and you just getting to know you has been like one of the highlights of this, and I can't wait to see the relationship after this.
I think like most of you guys and the cast are really amazing, and I just love this opportunity. But Susie, do you want to answer that?
I would love to. Thank you for asking. I wish I could have played an under the radar game. I wish I could have played the I don't know what's going on. I can't do anything. Like I just want to work with you, but I couldn't. You know, I wish I could have been in the position where my vote was the only thing that mattered, but I couldn't do that. You know, and yes, for the most part, when you put up people as HOH, your power goes away. That was not the case when I was HOH. In both the Eric and the Christian vote outs, I held the power because people were willing to tie it in the sense that that was what they would have wanted. If people voted the way that they truly wanted to vote, I think that both of those could have tied, and everyone knew where I stood, and so no one tied it. And I think that's power. And I think the two moves that I wish I could actually claim as my own was keeping you over Erica. But I know that that was a group effort, and solidifying you two with the vote to vote out Jamie. But I know that, like, I'm not going to say that I played your guys' games. Like, I think that my connections with both of you helped, but, like, you guys made that move, and I wish that that was something that, like, I could say was my game, but it was both of yours.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate your answers and your honesty. Best of luck for both of my nominees. And Susie, I want one picture of myself in that background, okay?
Of course, I just didn't have time.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, girls.
Thank you, Anna, so much. All right, we've got to the end of this. Done it. We are going to now go into your final speeches, your final pitches, your last chance to win over any jury votes. We'll start with Susie, then we'll go to Crystal, and then that will be it. So, Susie, the floor is
yours. I think a lot of what needs to be said has been said. I didn't want to play a scared game. I didn't want to play this, I'll just vote in the majority and do what people want and minimize myself, because I know that that's a legitimate strategy. I did not want to play that way because that's not the type of person that I want to be, and I wanted to push myself in this game in ways that I want to push myself in real life, and confronting people when I felt like the way that they treated me was not the way that you treat an ally, and rebuilding those relationships and not just being a pushover or someone that people can use, but standing up for myself and never minimizing my own game, never minimizing anybody else's game, never losing there's probably evidence that I did at some point, but that was something that I wanted to do, was make sure that everybody owns their own game and that no one was minimizing other people's games, because I hate that. Like, everyone was playing this game hard, and a lot of people discounted Crystal's game, a lot of people discounted Anna's games, and that's wrong. I didn't want to make deals. You know, I knew that I should probably try and make a deal with Tay that she would keep me if I kept her over Christian. But that was disingenuous to who I am, because I knew I was never going to keep Christian in that instance. I tried to play as upfront and honest as I could, but not giving everyone everything. Like, I tried to keep the relationship with Crystal very on the DL. I tried to keep the relationship with Jamie and Tay very on the DL. And I was never allowed to play any other way than the way that I had to play. People took that choice away from me, and I had to adapt. I wanted to play a UTR game. I am a UTR player normally. When I play minis, that's how I play. I like it when other people say names, and I can just disseminate information. And I had to play completely different from the way that I play and from the type of person that I am in real life. And it really pushed me, and I think that I adapted and overcame in ways that I didn't know that I could. And like I said with Tay, there was very few times when I did not have some sort of power in this game. And when I didn't, it was either Christian had power and was coming after me, or one of my allies had power and I was completely safe. I played a game on emotional connections as much as I did on competition wins. And the combination of the two is what got me where I am. I would not be here without my social game. Like, yes, I had to win comps, but I also needed to have those relationships. You can't just play this game by winning everything. Like, I sat on the block at what was that, final 6, and survived. And the majority of the people in this game, first time they sat on the block, they were gone. The people who didn't, that made it late in the game, it was the final 4 were all able to survive votes. And for the most part, that was because people did not view Crystal or Tay as threats, and people liked Anna a lot and didn't want to take her out. And I think that she and I had a similar trajectory of people wanted us in this game. And I think that with both Crystal and Anna at that point, I was better for their game. And that's ridiculous that at Final Six, someone who everyone was saying was the biggest threat in the game was beneficial to people's game. And I made it all the way here. And at Final Four, after Anna won, Tay told me, you know, if I have the power, I will keep you. Crystal told me, if I have the power, I will keep you. And I still wanted to have that power myself, but I didn't feel like I necessarily needed it. And I think that I played a complete all-around game. Me getting here was not an accident. I made it happen through both competition wins and emotional social connections and strategic play.
All right, Crystal, all you.
Hi there. Obviously, mine was a highly social and strategic game. Susie did get pushed into a corner with having to win competitions, but she also had that ability to win competitions. Had I gotten pushed in such a corner, I would have been screwed, and I knew that, and I knew I never could get there. So I know Jamie said I played in the middle a lot, but what I was doing throughout the game was trying to market myself and market this game. I had agendas moving through the game. I had clear goals. I was never going after my tight people, per se. At the beginning, I was trumpeting, hey, let's get the inactives out, because I knew I wasn't inactive. And then when the Baker's Dozen formed, I was like, hey, let's get anybody out that's not the Baker's Dozen, because I was in the Baker's Dozen. And then when I got to the point in which I knew there was a agenda or movement to keep big threats around, I didn't care much for that. And without ever being told, and Christian can confirm this, I figured out that Tay, but like Jamie and Sparks were protecting each other as big threats, and they had this like keep the big threats agenda tight, which implied also that Susie and Tay were in that as well. So I knew I needed to gun for Sparks and Jamie because I was closest to Susie and Tay at that point. And I was also considered flying under the radar. Also, UTR is a brand new term for me because I've never played these games before. So Susie's given me a lot of education through this. So I appreciate that. I had to really keep my social standing intact. And I'm not saying there wasn't an element of luck to this game, because there definitely was. Like, by sheer luck and accident, I got myself aligned with the people who were winning these competitions. And at no point, the scariest points for me in this game were when Anna nommed me. And then that was like after finding the reveal that Jamie made an alliance, then made another alliance, and then threw me under the bus. And then I got blamed for a bunch of stuff. And then I got called out, and then she nominated me. Okay, whatever, cool. And then the other time was when Sparks was HOH. I really did not trust him not to like put me up as the renom when Christian wasn't available. As far as like every other step of the game, the only concerns I had was if Tay and Jamie got power, because I had been playing the agenda straightforward. Like, Jamie's my goal, Sparks is out, now Jamie's my target, period. There was not any other narrative. I wasn't going around trying to like sneak other people under the bus. Like, I played in a straightforward way. I tried to give people the clearest agenda so they could feel safe with me. And that's just kind of where I'm at. Like, Susie had the skill, and I will say it again, luxury of being able to win when she needed to win. And she's amazing. And Christian's amazing. And Anna's amazing. But I didn't have that. I had to rely purely on social connections, making sure people felt good with me, and keeping as candid and as honest as possible in every situation. And I think I played a game that is worthy of winning BBH 13 in a way that I don't know if anybody's ever really done this before. I was eligible to be voted out every single round, and I am still here. I never was able to win the ability to save myself, but I'm still here. And it's, to me, miraculous and a testament to what I've done, to the fact that I'm here. Susie was targeted and eligible to get out one time, and she and I are here because I made it happen. So I would really love and appreciate your votes today. you're going to vote how you're going to vote. It's not going to change anything about how I feel about each of you personally. This is a one and done for me. Susie has won multiple things. I am fresh at this. I am new at this. I feel like I played the best game I could play, and I feel like I played the best game of the two of us sitting here. And I hope that you can let me represent this season of BB13, because I'm sure Susie could come back and win another season, no problem. But as far as I can say, I threw everything at the wall this game. I gave it everything I got. I ate, slept, and breathed this. I was working a full-time job and I was doing this, and I put my heart and soul and everything I could into it. And this has been an amazing experience. And I'm so glad I got to participate in it. I'm so glad I got to meet all of you and bond with all of you. And I look forward to continuing those relationships after the game. Thank you.
All right, ladies, you guys can take your final exhale because it is over. There's nothing left to do. So jury, if you are watching, because you are watching, send your video votes to the diary room in the next 5 minutes. We're going to tie that up. I'm going to put you guys backstage to let you guys have your own space so that you don't have to be watched at any moment. I'm going to hit the hype music. We're going to collect the votes. We're going to count the votes. We're going to reveal a winner, and that'll be that. So we'll catch you guys in a moment. All right. We have the votes. We're going to bring on Susie and Crystal. I want to say this. I've been wanting to say this for a long time, but now that I have the votes, I can say it. This is hands down one of our best seasons by a landslide. Every single person that played, I said what I said, came here to play as hard as they could. Everyone was constantly playing in their best self-interest. This was one of our most dynamic seasons, one of our best casts, and our best final two, and the hardest decision for a jury to have to make, I think, in 13 years, if only, in 13 seasons. And it is fitting that I think this is probably one of our strongest final two since a year ago tomorrow when Gray and Alex were in our final two, and it was close. So just wanted to bring some BBH history. But you guys are ready. We're ready for this to happen. So the basket is back. The chips are not in it. I have votes in that. You want to see your name. It'll take at least 5. Good luck to you both. Kieran did the lights. Here we go. Vote number 1.
I am voting for Crystal to win this game. Congrats, girl.
Goes to Crystal. Next vote goes to.
So, not an easy vote. Crystal did a really good job tonight, but I gotta vote for Susie. She won so many competitions. That's something that none of us could do, and everyone's discounting that. I think at the end of the day, Susie also played an equally as good game. Sure, she's not able to own it here, but I don't care if you're able to own it as much because I was able to see it firsthand as someone who played alongside her, played against her at times in this game. So congratulations, Susie. I really hope you win this game.
Susie, it's 1-1. Next vote goes to.
Third take. Let's do this. I vote for Crystal to win this game. I believe Crystal had a stellar performance tonight at jury questioning, and I think she was able to show her game clearly. Whereas I believe Susie stumbled a lot tonight, which to me shows that Susie's game wasn't all made out to be. I believe Susie played well, but I think she was seen as the bigger player, whereas I truly believe Crystal was the bigger player after tonight. And I cast my vote for Crystal to win.
Crystal. 2 votes Crystal, 1 vote Susie. Next vote goes to.
I very proudly vote for Susie to win BBH 13.
Susie, 2-2. Next vote goes.
I'm casting my vote for Susie to be the winner of BBH 13.
To Susie, it's 3-2. Next vote.
So I am really proud of both of you girls for making to the top, but after everything, like, I'll have to vote for Crystal. I think like her game, for a while, like during this jury, I had no idea because I read so many stuff and I felt like when I asked the question, I was expecting one answer from her, and I got the other one, but at the same time, I feel like her game really deserved that, so I am voting for Crystal to win this game.
Crystal, we're tied back up. 3-3. Next vote.
I vote for Susie to win the game. Is this what I'm supposed to say? I vote to evict Crystal. I vote for Susie to win the game. There we go. Boom.
Susie. That's 4 votes Susie, 3 votes Crystal. Next vote.
I originally came into this vote thinking one way, and then I had an open mind, listened to the jury statements and the questioning, and I just have to recognize game. Susie did a phenomenal job, but Dan Giesling was sitting right next to her. I have to recognize that. I'm voting Crystal as my winner. Congratulations, Crystal. Susie, you also rocked as well.
Crystal, we are tied up again, and this is coming down to the final vote. And the winner of Big Brother Hometowns Season 13. Congratulations.
Hi, lovely people. Again, Susie and Crystal, you have both played a phenomenal game. I think you played very different games, and it allowed for us to experience 2 different types of play socially and strategically in this season. And I think you both should be very proud no matter what happens. With that said, based on what I was able to see and what I was able to get from the jury questioning, I think one person did really stand out in being able to explain their game from day 0 to whatever the fuck day this is. And I will be voting for Crystal to win Big Brother 13.
Crystal, you have won Big Brother Hometowns Season 13.
Oh my god!
Congratulations. Unbelievable job by both of you guys. Absolutely fantastic.
Great job, guys. This is an incredible finale.
Can I leave now?
Yeah, you're good, Susie.
Good job, Crystal. Congratulations,
Great job,
girl.
Crystal.
This is amazing.
Sorry.
Good job.
I'm sorry Susie's upset.
It's
The floor is
Alright.
yours. The floor is yours, love.
I just tried so hard in this game and I really didn't want to hurt people. It was never a goal of mine and I can't believe it and I'm just so proud of what I did and I fought so hard and I'm just really grateful for the whole experience and thank you all so much, like production, especially like Carl, man, like send me the therapy bill. Like
You're all good.
it was your biggest alliance, it was production. I can't believe it. I'm really like upset that I upset Susie. Obviously, that was never my intention. I'm really grateful for whoever voted for me. I couldn't even tell you which way it went because I know that was a really hard decision. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about all that stuff off air for sure. But Crystal, congratulations. Unbelievable game.
So happy for you. Welcome to the winner's circle.
The winner's circle.
Well, let me remove my.
That's same, I mean.
Yeah.
I cannot believe it. Like I am gagged. My husband's like clapping me on the room. Like he's just to watch this tonight. I was like, you can't tell me anything. I don't want to get disqualified. He's like, can I vote in polls? I'm like, yeah, you just can't tell me anything. Oh my god. Okay, yeah.
Sorry, just collecting. Congratulations, Crystal. Honestly, I will give everyone time to to chill and
Yeah,
we've had a
just
long
decompress.
night, decompress. But anything else to say?
Impossible. It just felt like an impossible task, and like I thought I was going to be like a 0 vote finalist because I was like, no one knows what I've been doing, and I have like basically this time to sell what I was doing, and oh my god, I did it by just enough, obviously.
Well, Crystal, congratulations! An amazing game, an amazing season. I'm gonna wrap us up here so we don't drag on forever. We have time to hang out, and we're gonna hop on a Zoom and reune with everyone. Is that a word? Reune?
Reunite.
Reunite. That's to reune.
Very good.
All right.
Very good, Josh.
Honestly, one of our very best seasons of all time. This was fantastic from start to finish. There is so much love for all of these players, and there's a lot of fun to be had when you see all the content and everything. We'll hear from a lot of our finalists hopefully in the next coming days, and from Crystal, we'll do a deep dive. I'm sure Mitchell's going to want to talk to you for hours because he's been standing you for quite some time at this point. Congratulations, Gray, for finally winning a production draft.
I want a production draft. Down in the draft.
Crystal, I got the first pick in the production draft. You were the very first pick. You were my pick. So we both win tonight, Queen.
I was probably like the last.
Oh, Crystal, remind us, because I don't remember off the top of my head, what charity are we sending $50 to?
The Greater Cincinnati Boys and Girls Club.
Oh, awesome. That's great. We love that.
Love that.
Hey. All right.
So that's it for me. Good night, everybody. This has been a lot of fun. Lots of fun things that come in the offseason. Of course, we'll be
America's favorite.
America's favorite. Crystal's a clean sweep. The VL's favorite goes to Crystal. The game goes to Crystal. It's a clean sweep tonight, Susan. And just for the record, we're gonna give some awards in the Zoom reunion probably. And we I don't know what is what honestly, but when we talk about best player of the season, at least for my money, it's Susie and Crystal. 1-2. Either way, this thing was so close. It's a testament to how well you guys both played. So VL's favorite yours. The game is yours. The money's yours. The BBH merch is yours. It's all yours, Crystal. Soak it up. This is a great achievement, and we are super proud of you here on production.
Thank you guys.
And otherwise, for Max, Gray, Carl, Mitchell somewhere, Abby, Adam, anyone else?
K-Pow.
Sorry, K-Pow. This thing
Burn
couldn't
him
run without
at the
K-Pow.
stake.
Yeah. This thing wouldn't have even been a thing without K-Pow. She basically got this ship moving.
Oh my God, yes.
So for all of them, I'm Josh Gonsalvo signing off for Big Brother Hometowns 13. We'll see you in the off season. We'll see you eventually for Big Brother Hometowns 14. And goodbye, everybody.